I'm going to do a little bit of back testing, and I thought I'd record a video on how I do that. I'm not back testing strategies. I am going to a specific trade that I did place this week. I already know how the trade played out. I got stopped out. I made a mistake this day. I did not place my stop correctly, and honestly, even if I did place my stop correctly, I think I still would have gotten stopped out probably by less than a point. Um, this past week trading MNQ, I got pretty close to getting stopped out on a couple trades. There was another one I was 1 point from getting stopped out. So one thing I did is I increased my stop by a couple points. That's not very much on MNQ, but for the most part, I was pretty happy with my stop placement, except for just a couple trades. So what I'm going to be practicing in my backtest session is my stop placement. The other thing I learned from trading this past week is that my break even was too soon and my trailing stop was too tight. So there was more than one time where if my break even was closer to my first TP and if my trailing stop wasn't too tight, I actually would have reached full profits on more than one trade and overall had a profitable week. So I'm spending a little bit of time tweaking the numbers, changing my trailing stop, my break even, and everything like that. So this backtest session is to make sure that it's all working correctly the way that I want it to. And I'll show you how to do backtesting in Sierra Chart while I'm at it. So first things first is I have a separate tab. It's a different chart book for backtesting. So I've got my M&Q chart here, and this way I can mess up my lines, I can move things around, and I'm not messing up my lines on my actual trading chart. It's not a big deal. I have dozens of lines here, and it just doesn't mess anything up. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clear trade data, because when you do multiple trades, it kind of just messes it up. So I'm going to go to trade. I'm going to clear trade, sim orders, and data, and hit yes. All right, so now I'm ready to go to the trade I want to go to. So click chart, replay chart control panel. This will bring up the control panel. So for charts to replay, I just want to replay this one chart. If you maybe have multiple time frames, say you've got a 5-minute and you've got a 15-minute, you might want to do all charts in chart book or charts with same link number. But for me, I just want the one chart. And then for date, put in the day that you want to jump to and the time you want to jump to. So for me, I want to look at a trade from this past Tuesday, December 9th at 8 o'clock. For speed, I'm actually going to start off on 2x speed. That gives me time to get in the trade, and then I'll increase it. This is a slow moving trade. It's not going to hit TP fast. For jump method, I use to next bar, and I'll show you what that looks like, but you can use time if you want to jump 5 minutes, and there's a few other options there too. And then the last thing is I want to start paused. So I'm going to have this checked. That means that when I go to hit play, and then you can choose if you want to clear trade data or not. I'm going to go ahead and clear data again. And then this does take a minute to load. Okay, we're loaded. So what the start paused means is that when this jumps to the time that you specified, it's not going to start playing immediately. So I really like this because it gives me time to adjust my levels. But I already have it done, so I don't really need to do that. So I am good to just go ahead and hit play. And candlesticks will start moving. All right, so I already know that I'm looking for a candlestick to break over this level, and I already know it's not going to be this one. So I'm going to go ahead and jump forward. So I'm going to do that by clicking this forward button right here, and because I have to next bar selected, it's going to finish printing that bar and start printing the next one. I'm going to go ahead and I am going to jump forward one more time, and then I'm going to go ahead, and I already know I have time. I'm going to go ahead and place my order. Now I enter trades, I think kind of in an unusual way. I enter based on an offset of where I want my stop to be. This is amazing because I don't have to do math on where I want to enter. I don't enter trades and then later realize that I'm risking more than I want to risk. This ensures that I'm risking exactly what I want to risk and then I get the price that I want. So yeah. Anyways, this is going to go into drawdown, so I'm just going to go ahead and fast forward until price is closer to my first take profit. So let's just do that. So this is an example of where I'm hoping that widening my stop, I just did it by a couple points, would have kept me in this trade. I'm still happy with my R to R. So trading, a lot of it is about analyzing your data and making changes based off that. So the first thing that I'm looking for is to make sure that my break even is correct. So I used to move to break even when I was 70% of the way to my TP, and that was just too tight. So I changed it so it moves to break even now when I'm 90% of the way. So 4 points for my TP. I think I'm going to go forward. Okay, yeah. I just don't want to sit here watching all of this. All right, so we'll let this go. Oh, the other thing is we can increase the speed. So I'm going to increase the speed here by just clicking these little up arrows. I'm going to go to 5 times speed. This is a really slow trade. So what I'm looking for is that when this hits 72, because it's 2 contracts, my break even, so my stop, gets moved to my entry. So that's the first thing I'm testing with this backtesting session. So yeah, so I moved to break even when I'm 4 points away from my stop. Some people might think, well, what's the point of that? That's basically, like, you might as well not have that. All right, I think, but if price moves 37 points, then yeah, I want to be break even. If I was that close to my TP, and we'll see what happens. I mean, this is a change I'm making based off my results from just 1 week of trading. So I'm going to make the change and take more trades and, reevaluate my results again. That was really close. So that was 4.25 points. So it was 1 tick away. Every time, I've done this a couple times now, actually. I've done this video. It wasn't recording audio, so every time I do it, I get a little bit of a different entry price. So it's interesting. Slow moving trade. Okay, so we moved to break even, so that's good. That's the first thing that I wanted to test out. And then TP. The next thing that I'm looking for is that when this moves 60 points in profit, my trailing stop moves up 10 points. So one of the things that I realized was that my trailing stop was too tight. So I originally had it so that it was trailing by 30 points. And it was just too tight. I mean, there's times where that works. Yeah, but if I just didn't have it that tight, I would reach my max TP more often. So I'm using what Sierra Chart calls a triggered step trail stop. There are so many different order types in Sierra Chart. It's kind of cool because you're probably going to find what it is that you need. So this is a new order type I'm practicing with. It took a little bit of time to get my numbers correctly. So you've got the trail offset, your trigger offset, and your step amount. I kept doing it wrong at first. I would put in the numbers and it's not what I wanted. So I think I have it correct now. So it's just a matter of making sure that it is working correctly. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and fast forward a little bit because I know I've seen this trade play out, so I kind of know where I want to, slow it down and actually pay attention. So I don't want to just fast forward. It's okay if I do. It'll still, the price will update, the trailing stop will update even if I fast forward. But I kind of want to see, I want to see it working. So there we go. So it hit 60 points in profit. So my stop moved 10 points in profit. So I am giving my trade 50 to 60 points of space. It sounds like a lot, and it does mean that there's going to be times where I let a lot go. But if price moves significantly in my favor, like 60 points, at least I'm not giving all of that up. I am capturing something. I mean, 10 points is so small, but I've got to give it more space to go, to breathe. So the next part of this step, trailing stop, is that when it moves to 70 points in profit, my stop moves another 10 points up, locking in 20 points. So that's the next thing that I want to see. So I'm going to go, I am going to fast forward a little bit just because I know that doesn't happen right here. But backtesting is a great way to test out your take profits and your stop placements. And if you have it automatic like I do, making sure that it's all working correctly, because you don't want to get live and then see that you put the wrong number in the wrong spot and it's just not working the way you intended. Okay, so it got to 70 points in profit, so my stop moved up another 10 points. So if I were to get stopped out right here, I would walk away with 20 points on the second contract, which means, yeah, I let a lot go. But like I said, I just realized this past week that I've got to give it more room to breathe. And trading, it's just a continuous cycle of trying something, analyzing your results, tweaking, retesting. Okay, so I knew this was going to be a slow moving trade, but I got to make sure that, first I got to practice placing my stop correctly. I did it wrong on Tuesday when I placed this trade. Making sure my break even is moving to break even when I'm 4 points from TP, and that my step trailing stop was working correctly. It looks like it was, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to save this configuration that I defined right here in this panel. And I'm done with this backtesting session. So if at any point you need to pause, you can just click pause on the control panel and then hit play when you're ready again. Or if you're done like I am, you can just hit stop and it's going to go back to the current time. And that's it for this backtest session. I hope you're working on your backtest sessions. It's a great way to not just practice your strategies, but again, like making sure that your stops and your TPs and your trailing stops and everything is working the way that you intended. So I'm excited to try this out next week.